wish I didn't. But anyway, it's time for picks and bans for game number 1, Janair versus Anarchy. And there's a Zed ban against Mickey, who has not yet connected, so he has no idea.
Just take that out right there. We've seen him go 10-0 and 10 on this Zed in that game 3 versus Najin. So don't chance it. There's the Azir ban up against GBM. Ari taken out as well, so heavy bans at Mickey this game. GBM can play both Zed and Ari, so bit of a surprise right there. But again, Anarchy, Zed, Ari, and Vlad have been the main champions that Mickey has used.
Just setting it up for a first pick Yasuo. That's what we're doing here. Yep, Janair.
No.
There, it's incoming. Watch out. Well, Mickey still hasn't connected, so I wonder if we're going to have to remake this when it's all said and done. But looks like we're getting through bans at least for now. Callista, the ban against Janair as well. Pretty standard stuff. And I really wonder, you know, will we see Ashe here? We are on 5.9 this week. Victor is not available yet. Ashe is, however.
Someday
so
Victor will be fixed.
Yep. Actually, word on the street is coming soon. No, I'm serious.
Okay. Well, I've heard that from Riot about a billion times.
Actually, next week. He's going to be available next week. For real.
Okay.
We got word. Victor's coming.
All right, so Gnar ban for Janair. That won't be available for Ixu. Ixu been playing primarily Maokai and Hecarim, however. And what will the final ban be for Anarchy? Could ban that Rumble. Trace was quite good on that champion. And the Bard.
If they don't ban Bard, I want to see. Oh, they banned Bard. Oh.
Damn it, Toa. Why did the pro teams do this to us? It makes us so curious.
I know, right? I mean, you know that Bard's got to be really good if everyone's banning it. The Gragas is a great pick. I mean, he's a great champion right now. It's a good takeaway from Lyra. And I don't think we're going to see Teemo Malzahar unless this really is Team Dark 2.0. And they have just completely given up on life. But that's not going to happen.
Yeah, Mickey has been known as a TF player. He has a lot of solo queue TF games on the ladder. Would be a bit bold to pick it this early when GBM could get the counter pick, but they may just be keeping that in mind, at least for the moment. LeBlanc falling down the standings a little bit so far here.
Do you think it's because people are feeling Mid Morgana is such a good counter to that right now?
No, I think people just, in terms of LeBlanc, I mean, GBM in the distant past has played Mid Morgana to a certain degree of effect, but it's just on these tanks LeBlanc can have some issues. And if LeBlanc ever falls behind in the tank meta, she's never going to be able to kill anybody.
That's
and
true.
There has been some Mid Morgana play here in Korea as a counter, but there's going to be the Rumble as suspected for Trace alongside the Alistar for Sweet. Thresh.
Alistar has been very good for Sweet lately.
Thresh and Rek'Sai on the other side.
You know, Sweet actually has a 60% win rate with Janna and solo queue right now, which is pretty impressive to do on that champion. And Jinx wouldn't be a big shock, but I wonder what we're going to see from Anarchy. Is Mickey going to throw down the Yasuo gauntlet?
Let me show you how it's done, son. No, he's not going to pick that champion up until the last one. Lucian, bit of a blind pick right here, but they may just try and go for some lane dominance with that Lucian Thresh lane and discourage any possible Sivir picks that might come in for Janair. There's Hecarim, and that wouldn't be a surprise. Ixu has been prioritizing that champion.
Yep. And it will be locked in. So the last two picks over to Janair right now. Everybody wants to play Vayne against Anarchy. I saw it hovered over for just a second.
Or if you're not Jin, everybody wants to just play Vayne all the time.
That's true, yeah. Well, that is OQ, so OQ likes to tumble into 5 people and die.
Yeah, I think Sivir's still a very strong pick here with their composition. They have fantastic engage, and they can just go ahead and...
We already know it's going to be Vayne.
Vayne swap it, lane swap it out in that particular situation, so you're not quite so vulnerable to it, even though the Hecarim might get an edge just by having Smite in a lane swap situation. So
it's gonna be. We know it's gonna be Vayne. I'm sorry, guys. Spoiler alert. They're gonna pick Vayne.
I mean, there isn't a lot of ways to get back onto Vayne with this composition.
Oh boy. Oh.
No.
Yep. I thought so. Yeah.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
No Yasuo. They are going to take the Lulu, so at least they'll have some wave clear early,
geez.
but not a lot of wave clear overall in this composition. GBM going with the very safe pick in the mid lane. And this is sort of a weird Jugger Vayne composition. Now, this is hard to work with because Vayne is pretty low range and doesn't have that speed boost like Sivir does, but is going to be good with the Gragas, and that'll be a Vlad grab for Mickey. I really like watching Mickey play Vlad, and they should have known this Vlad was coming because he picked it into Space's Vayne in the game versus CJ and had that great little duel with Space in the bottom lane where he just pulled out of the condemn. So Vlad's going to be a pretty strong pick against Vayne. It is difficult for Vayne to kill Vlad and wait out that trade with the transfusion and pop Vayne pretty easily.
Yep, and hopefully Mickey takes the right runes and masteries this time. And here we go. Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Generic Green Wings versus Anarchy here in Champions Summer. And Ganked by Mom bringing the Lulu into the mid lane here. And I believe in the past, GBM did have some of the highest AP we've ever seen on a Lulu.
He's had over 1,000 AP on Lulu before with a Medjai Soul Stealer. That was pretty funny to watch. It was early on in the spring season.
Yep, fond memories of AP support Lulu dancing through my mind during that game.
With 1,000 HP.
Doing the damages. Oh, well, about 1,000 HP, that's true,
AP.
but a lot of AP as well. Yes. Don't worry, if you have 1,000 HP, those shields are really strong with all that AP.
Well, good stuff.
Good stuff indeed.
So lane swap looks like it will be coming in. Pilot going to dodge this, and this is a really interesting game for me to watch Pilot because Pilot has been great on these caster AD carries, right? But he's not really been known for being able to play the auto-attacking ADs that well, and this is kind of the ultimate test of an auto-attacking AD carry. Are you going to be able to use this Vayne effectively?
You know, the sad thing is that this just reinforces all the Vaynes in solo queue to keep being Vayne. See that thread the other day? The Vayne spotting thread. Right, that was pretty good, actually.
It was pretty funny.
It was accurate to my solo queue experiences. I enjoyed it.
So lane swap coming in, no surprise. Both teams just going to freeze this wave. And we see junglers starting on the bottom side of the map. Red buff being taken first by Chaser. And they're already pinging enemy red, so perhaps Rumble and Gragas are going to take a stroll over there. And Alistair actually just going to walk in, check it out, find that nothing's going on. So we may see a bit of a contest right here. Thresh going to come late, Snowflower going to come late to the red buff, but he's not going to catch anybody because he thought they would go Krugs to red.
And that's the Samsung Thresh skin too, I believe.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a brand new Samsung Thresh skin.
Right. Snowflower going to try to channel his inner Mata this game.
Well, Mata may be in China, but the Samsung Thresh is still in Korea.
That's right. It's the only Samsung thing really left from the World Championship team in Korea right now.
Okay, so red to red start. Meanwhile, the duo heading down to the bottom side, so it looks like it will be 3 buffs right away for the Jin Air Green Wings. A little bit interesting pathing, actually, that Ixu and Lyra would come down to the bottom side. As soon as they started pushing, they wanted to make sure that they denied this XP. So they were trying to punish a possible teleport coming in from Trace, but it's just not going to show up. So they broke that freeze. Are they going to transition this into a dragon after pushing up? And the answer is no. Lyra going to recall. So that was a bit of a failed bait right there to try and get a teleport out of Trace and kill him under the tower, but Jin Air are not going to fall for it.
Well, Songyun is probably doing quite a bit of damage to that bottom turret as well, too. And speaking of Samsung, we saw their team recently kind of get a little bit of success trying to just be a fast-pushing team, and you know, maybe Anarchy trying to take a page out of that book.
Well, Lyra didn't stay around to attack the tower, and now they have 2 people in the top side, and they will be able to break this freeze, so they're responding. And same time, 2 members of Jin Air in the bottom lane doing much the same thing. So it's like we're all going to be even through this lane swap. Pilot.
Wow, nice damage from Pilot onto Ixu there. He did get flayed once, but it was a good response. And here comes Chaser and GBM. Ixu in a little bit of trouble. There's a flash. Goes for the body slam, doesn't connect though. GBM flashing, gets bloodthirsty. Did he get him with the ignite? He did. GBM with the first blood. Oh, but he's taken out by Snowflower as well too. Meanwhile, more action. Teleports coming in. This game is insane now. Lyra taking a big hit from Pilot there with those silver bolts, but it looks like he'll be able to get out. So GBM going deep for the first blood. I approve. I like GBM.
He was really fast on that roam right there because they were trying to punish them from overextending, and they took some pretty bad trades under that tower, but Snowflower kept GBM underneath the turret after his flash had been blown in order to make that play.
Yeah.
Great play, but still GBM is the one who picks up the first blood right there, and the kill going over to the support not going to be quite so impactful, and GBM didn't really miss any CS right there either. Tower just starting to pick that up in the mid lane. Mickey still lurking there, going after the Rift Scuttler, it would appear. Just running around, transfusing it a bunch. That's a little odd.
Yeah, well, he's not transfusing the Rift Scuttler. He's transfusing himself from the Rift Scuttler.
Well,
he's not giving the Rift Scuttler blood. He's taking it.
That's very true.
Taking that crab blood. Infusing it with his own. I don't think that'd be compatible, but apparently it is.
Well, everything, I should say, is a universal donor for Vladimir.
I guess so. Yeah, he's type everything.
That would be really painful to get transfused by Vladimir, because what does he do? Does he just wave his hands and your blood like seeps out your skin and flies over to him?
I think it's like when Magneto like sucked out Wolverine's adamantine skeleton. It's like that.
Ow.
Exactly. Would not be fun. Yep, that only happened in the comics so far, guys.
Well, spoiler alert for the 1 million X-Men movies they're going to make.
You know, they like allude to it in Days of the Future Past, but who knows if they'll ever actually have that scene. So, Pilot and Sweet pushing ahead in lane. And at this point, things might get a little bit more farm-oriented. Unless we see a dive in top.
I don't think
they're... with their ward, though.
Yeah, they're not going to be diving Trace right now.
Yeah.
Has that flash up, and it would be a little bit bold to do that, even though they did briefly have a small level advantage. Trace is going to freeze this close to his turret. Ixu looking to recall pretty... Oh, no, he's not actually recalling this early. He does have a TP advantage, so potentially Snowflower and Sangyu could make a play on the bottom side, but Lyra mostly focusing on the top of the map at the time being.
Yeah. Not getting a ton out of it yet either.
Ixu just hiding.
Yep.
Threatening the bottom lane, trying to make them a little bit scared. Chaser was over in the tri-brush not too long ago, just trying to set himself up for a counter gank if one came in.
And meanwhile, this mid lane has been continuously pretty even, just more farming like we kind of thought it would be. And we'll see where Lyra goes now. Jin Air has some pretty nice wards on the bottom side of the map, so there's not going to be a lot of surprises coming from the Anarchy side, I think, for this bot lane of Pilot and Sweet.
Yeah, Vayne has been left to farm alone for quite a long time right now, even grabbing an assist on that first blood. So things going pretty well for the Vayne scaling. And I really like Jin Air's composition. I love Gragas Vayne. And Gragas Vayne with a Lulu speed buff is going to be able to just chase down anyone. You think about Vayne's passive and the speed that she gets off of that, and then combine that with Whimsy. After the Gragas ult, she takes one person down, and there's a 5v4 situation. The cleanup potential for Vayne is huge.
Flash.
Wow.
Nice move on to Snowflower, knocking him back into that brush, and he is
beautiful.
Dead. Man, that was one of the cleanest ganks I think I've ever seen.
And that's what Alistair Vayne can do as a lane that's so scary, is that Alistair can set up kills like that alongside Vayne to properly prep someone for Condemn. And remember, Snowflower used his flash on that kill for GBM. Just about to come up too. Look how close they hit that timer. Really good timing, because they maximized their time to go ahead and get this dragon too by making sure that kill happened as late as possible so that they wouldn't take so much damage from Dragon. Remember, Dragon has been buffed in this patch pretty substantially in the early game.
Yeah, it does a little bit more damage, or a little bit more damage than it used to. A little bit tougher to take, but
33% more damage is pretty significant in the early game.
Either way, it's a good move by Jin Air to get that kill. Like, there was literally nothing Snowflower could do without Flash. He just
Yep.
I died. He was there, and then he was gone.
Yeah, you have to respect.
You gotta respect that.
You gotta respect.
Mad respect for that play. It's like when you reflect the respect.
Yeah,
It's like,
right.
hey man, you're wearing a nice tie today, and then you're like, no dude, I like your tie. That's respecting. You're just reflecting the respect back at him, you know? Nice shoes. No, you got nice shoes. Respected. Mad respect.
Oh God, that's terrible.
It'll be in the dictionary within 2 years now. I'm sorry.
I actually know that people are going to use that now that you said it too. It's awful.
Hey, I got nothing but mad respect for that. So that's cool. That's cool.
Somebody would have to use it first for you to have that respect, though.
That's true. You got to respect it right back.
And I'm not going to give you compliments to respect. So.
You don't need to. It's already too late. It's out there, man. It's been released into the internet, and thus the universe. Even aliens
Great.
pick up the internet.
I'd like
use
to
it.
apologize for humankind to all aliens.
Oh, come on. That's the worst thing you can think of with humans, to apologize to aliens.
That's the worst thing I have to apologize for.
Okay. Oh, you were part of that, though. You weren't promoting their respect.
But I accidentally invented it, so I know how to take
That's
responsibility for my mistakes, Noah.
That's true. I know how to take your mistakes and turn them into a sort of a Frankenstein's monster of a mistake and make it even more devastating.
Thank you so much.
We're a great duo that way. Chaser trying to, well, not make a play. Looks like he's going to recall instead. It's just too hard. It's too hard to go under that turret. Oh, where is it? Yeah, it is. There we go. I thought so,
well,
Chaser.
he only has boots right now, so this dive, just a little bit of flame spitter damage. I think they're just trying to make sure Trace can push up safely. And if they happen to get an opportunity to take out the Hecarim, then might as well go for it. Trace is still here, though. Finds Lyra.
Yeah, gets the ward down, too. But Lyra's going to clear it right away.
Lyra's 2 levels up on Chaser right now. He has been hard farming this game.
Well, you can certainly do that with Rek'Sai. Can farm very, very quickly.
It's
But
a pretty substantial advantage.
Yeah.
12 CS in the lead, and he hasn't been waiting in lanes like Chaser has, or helping out with some of these ganks like the one we saw on the bottom side.
That's interesting, too. Do you think it's going to give him enough of an edge here in the mid game that it was worth it?
I mean, not really with the team composition. They really need to scale into the late game, so maybe it'll give them a little bit of a boost, but getting an early kill on the Vladimir or Hecarim especially would have been pretty good. And they also didn't do anything with their more dominant lane of Lucian and Thresh. So a lot of, I think, missed opportunities so far. And if you're going to take Rek'Sai, you got to be able and willing to make those plays. If you want to play Rek'Sai like this, might as well just play Sejuani, honestly, and have that much bigger effect in the late game team fights.
Oh, Equalizer goes down onto Ixu. Trace going in, but Lyra's right there as well. Trace in a little bit of trouble here. No one there to help him. Burns that flash. Can he get away? Flame Spitter going. He's running, and we'll see if they can catch him. No, it doesn't look like it. Just a little bit too dangerous to follow into that jungle. It was a nice attempt, and at least they went flash for flash.
Yeah, Lyra actually got the flash out really early in that gank, but that means that he had no tools to CC and follow up on after that. And Lyra probably using his flash a bit too early right there, considering that Ixu actually hit the combo where you ult in and then E somebody back.
Right.
So Lyra vulnerable.
Yeah, I think they might try to. Okay, so he sees him with that tremor sense. And they're going to contest this blue buff. Pilot there as well, too. It doesn't look like there's a lot that Anarchy can do to stop this. Nope, blue buff going right over to Pilot.
Chaser.
Or Chaser, rather. Yep, thought I saw her on Pilot. Snowflower, just a parting death sentence. More like a death suggestion.
At that point, yes.
Yep.
No one really takes the death suggestion, though.
Death comment. Just a small message, a death note, perhaps.
No, I think that would be quite different, though. I think that death note would be very, very different than what we just saw.
He'll take that potato chip and eat it. You know, I had cosplayed as Kira from Death Note once at an anime convention in San Jose, and I carried around a bag of potato chips. I would yell that line when I was standing next to people and then eat a potato chip very dramatically.
I'd like to apologize to the aliens for Doa too.
Dude, it was pretty cool.
Well,
It's pretty neat.
that just goes to show that cool is subjective.
Hey, we'll see what the aliens say when they get here, man. Who knows? Maybe I am like the perfect entertainer for their species. I could be like the David Hasselhoff of Mars. You never know.
That's one of your best quotes of all time.
I'm
totally lacking context.
I'm just surprised Kanye West didn't say it before I did. That's my only shock there. Well, not a lot going in this game, as you may have noticed. Not a lot happening.
What we have to speculate about Doa's status is oh, here we go.
Equalizer, okay, and Exalt's away. Well, okay. Thought it was a momentary moment of action. Well, Lyra's taking Dragon. Maybe that'll... No.
I don't think he can take Dragon right now.
Well, not with the bot lane right there. Sweet and Pilot may do something about it. Snowflower there to help out. And Mickey's coming down. Yeah, I don't know if... Okay, well, Teleport coming in. So Anarchy's going to be pushed back for now. They're going to go in onto GBM. Chaser right there as well. He's going to get the stun onto Lyra. Here comes Pilot with a lot of damage on that Vayne. Easy kill for him. And the ult used by Vladimir, not enough. Wild Growth onto Pilot. He is just tearing apart this Anarchy team. Double kill already. Ixu tries to come in for a kill onto Chaser, but can't get it. That's a triple kill now for Vayne. Pilot chasing. This could be our first penta of the season. Oh, GBM denies it, though. Oh.
Pilot's face. He had that. And that's why I love this composition, Doa.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, especially with the Gragas pick coming in. And Chaser didn't even have his ult in that fight, but managed to break things apart enough. They got those little skirmishes where Vayne could follow through. GBM. Penta Thief.
Oh, I know. Denied. No respect given there. All right, well, let's just watch one of the saddest moments of Pilot's career.
GBM flashes right here, and look at this setup. It's just a 5v3 on the flank because Jin Air collapsed so quickly, and Trace had a good TP to separate the enemy team. Remember that Jin Air doesn't have Equalizer or Explosive Cask in this fight, and Pilot still is able to position in order to pick up this actual penta right here. There's the Glitter Lance. You could see the bolt flying to Vicky. It hit probably 0.1 seconds before that auto would have registered.
GBM's bloodthirsty, man. He needs those kills.
He definitely would have gotten that penta.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Almost. So close.
Well, now Pilot has a Zeal, Bork, and QSS at 17 minutes into this game, which means that it is probably over.
Yeah, it's looking that way.
Yeah, nothing like a 5-0 and 2 hyper carry.
Well, the only kill on Anarchy is on their support right now, so things could be going better. GBM just gonna, you steal that too? Yeah, you're just gonna steal that blue buff? Okay, sure. Go ahead. Good, GBM. Pilot's just decided he needs some alone time in the bot lane to
Pilot's gonna AFK in Fountain.
I know, that's right. Dude, most Vaynes on solo queue would. They would. That's AFK material right there for your average gold or silver league Vayne player. Could extend higher, who knows. I've had a lot of ADCs AFK after I take their kills in bot lane.
Scumbag Doa.
Well, you know, they're not as sensitive about that in NA, but in Korea, the ADCs, man, if you take one of their kills, even if it's unintentional, they're like, all right, that's it. I'm out, AFK. I needed that 300 gold.
Game's over without it.
Yep.
We lost.
Yep. So I'm like, no worries, man. I'll just start building damage. And I destroy that bot lane 1v2. Destroy it.
Well, Chaser doing well so far. In spite of that level disadvantage he had, he did have that play onto the bottom side and helped out with the first blood as well. So 100% kill contribution rate so far as we close in here.
Yep.
On 20 minutes. And Pilot really showing up on this Vayne, but mostly that last team fight wasn't that difficult to play for Pilot. It was just that they collapsed and Anarchy really wasn't all on the same page on that engage, because the fact that Jin Air could win that without two of their most important ultimates available says a lot about Anarchy's positioning in that, as in the setup to contesting that dragon.
You know, why doesn't Samsung Thresh just have like a cell phone charger that he throws out instead of a hook? Missed opportunity there, I think.
Because you can't grab people with cell phone chargers, Doa.
He sharpens the USB
Ow.
and sticks it like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Like, get over here.
You know, you provide martial arts tools for the modern gentleman of, that's what you need as a spy
That's
these
true.
days, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we know that Ganks maketh man, right? Mata maketh man. Maybe, I don't know. I'm reaching too much for that one. Well, that all didn't work out. Culling goes down. The box slows down Pilot for just a moment. Pilot still manages to pick up that kill.
Yeah, Chaser actually knocking them out from underneath the turret to set that one up. Again,
Yeah.
Snowflower's flash just about to come up, but not quite there.
Here comes Lyra trying to make a play here. Gets knocked back against the wall immediately. Pilot in no danger at all. Lyra has to flash away. Here comes Mickey, but Chaser's going to dive right in there. Hemoplague on all thring of them. Condemned against the wall, though, is Mickey, and Pilot just going to go ahead and heal and QSS out of that.
Yeah, just QSSing right out of the Vladimir ultimate, so Hemoplague not doing much of anything at all to Pilot. They're still going to get this tower.
Yeah, this Vayne is just untouchable right now.
Yeah, I would not be trying to kill the Vayne.
Vayne would have to just... Pilot would have to become OQ to die from here on out in this game.
GBM also going with the Soul Stealer.
Nice. Why not?
Yeah, I think that you can legitimately snowball off of what they have, and it's going to really do you a lot of favors.
And
when
if you're,
all of your lanes are winning.
If you're going to be stealing pentakills away from your AD carry, you might as well be getting Magi stacks with it too.
Wow. 2.5k gold ahead for Pilot compared to Sangyun already.
Yeah.
20 minutes of the
Equalizer. Ixu is in a bit of trouble here. He may have to ult just to get away. Barely doesn't need to use it.
Yeah, burning now too with that Leandri's completed, so
Yep.
Ixu going to have to recall right now and then perhaps use his teleport not to lose too much CS, or he'll hand it over to
He's keeping his
Lyra.
teleport for now. He bought home guards.
Yeah, he's had home guards. He went Merc home guards first. So.
Yeah. As many Hecarims do. And it looks like he's just going to farm a bit in the jungle anyway, since Lyra and Snowflower are up in top lane. Dragon up in about 30 seconds, so we'll see if Jin Air can grab their third. Wow, it's already their third. It seems like it shouldn't be that far already in the game, but this game is certainly moving at a bit of an accelerated pace because of the lead that Jin Air has.
All right, more turret pressure going down. Pilot actually having a really easy time of sieging at this stage of the game. You should not be allowed to do this with Vayne this early. Here comes the teleport from Ixu. Trace going to respond.
Mickey,
they have to run.
Yeah, Ixu can't come in on this. Lantern, yep, he's going to go ahead and take it. But this bot lane tier 2 is still in quite a bit of trouble. Yeah, Pilot at 217 CS at 22 minutes and 6-0-2. What a game for him. I think he's putting in an MVP performance right now as they go for their third dragon.
Yeah, and this is great, too, to see from Pilot, because that has been the question from him, is how meta-proof is this guy? Can he play some more of these really big hyper-carry champions? Because mostly what he's been doing is poking from the back line, playing a lot of siege-based AD carries, playing for disengage, and not something that's quite as all-in or dangerous to play as Vayne. And while this game isn't the best showcase of his Vayne mechanics, because the team comp, I think, is really effective at hiding a lot of Vayne's flaws, that it's still good to see him hold up in terms of his laning presence after that lane swap particularly.
Yep. And that turret has 25 health remaining. And Jin Air can kind of close this one out pretty leisurely at this point.
Yeah, they have essentially every advantage. The gold lead may only be 4K, but based on the scaling of Jin Air's composition, it's just the fact that all the kills are on the two carries in this game, so that makes it particularly rough. Turret goes down to the top side. First tower of the game for Anarchy. That'll bring them back a little bit in terms of gold.
Yeah, still 4K behind at 24 minutes is a pretty big amount, but even more so just the amount of damage that this Vayne is going to do. And You know, Mickey's farmed perfectly fine on Vlad, but he just hasn't been able to really make any sort of difference in team fights.
Yeah, and in that last little engagement on the bottom side too, he got condemned into the wall, so he couldn't follow up. And even then, Pilot is so huge that how do you deal with his Vayne right now with the static shiv completed?
Yeah. He's not going to be able to deal with it like he dealt with Space's Vayne, that's for sure.
There we go, big push.
Yeah, looks like they should be able to get this mid lane turret. And so second turret of the game for Anarchy, so starting to make a little bit of headway back again. Meanwhile, Ixu gets caught in the top lane. A couple knockups keep him in place for now. Another turret goes down in favor of Jinair in the meantime. There's another body slam from Chaser. Ixu trying to get away. GBM, can he catch him? Doesn't look like it. They're going to get him to safety on that dark passage.
So they traded tower for tower right there, but the pressure keeps on rolling. Pilot actually going to take the red buff. They can keep on pushing in mid and top right now. They have all the deep wards they need to safely move these minion waves forward and start sieging.
Well, I like that we see Jinair getting those turrets and then immediately just moving into the jungle and taking the camps as well, too.
Yeah, so every time they make a trade, Jinair actually takes a little bit extra, and over time, that's resulted in a pretty substantial lead. Jinair playing very calmly this game. They're not trying to overpress their advantage in any way. They seem to be taking Anarchy pretty seriously after some of their brethren, and CJ and Najin as professional teams have fallen to Anarchy when playing a little bit too fast and loose.
You know, and Jinair didn't really need to camp the mid lane or anything like that this game either. They just focused on getting Pilot fed, and
they had really good reads on Mickey's roams as well. So Mickey wasn't able to affect the outer lanes, the side lanes, because every time he came in, Jinair had a good call, had good comms, and were aware that he was coming. And so he never actually got any of those ganks to work. Either that or GBM was just roaming faster like we saw with that first blood.
Right. Well, Lyra wandering around in a very sad jungle with not a lot to do.
Yeah.
And Jinair can kind of just stall this out until the next dragon or the next team fight, kind of whichever happens first. You take Baron, of course, at any time, too. And they've already got a decent amount of vision around that.
Yeah, they do, and they can do it, obviously, pretty quickly with this Vayne with Blade of the Ruin King also. So that's a pretty major threat right now. They could do it quickly, but they are going to take some damage. They don't have a whole lot of tankiness yet, and here we go. There's a flash.
Wow, flash, body slam, getting the flash from Songyun as well. They're just going to dive it. Oh, or not. Okay, yeah, that would have been a little bit far to continue.
No need to commit for that, but trading a jungler flash for 2 summoners from their AD carry is well worth it for Jinair. Again, taking a really pretty preferable trade. Jinair trying to set up around this Baron. They want to bait it. Pink wards are already in place. There's a ward over the wall. Of course, Anarchy concerned that that could have already begun.
Oh, Snowflower throws a lantern in first, which was smart because 3 members of Jinair were hiding in there.
Trace just returning to the mid lane after his Void Staff.
Yeah. Oh, GBM. He wants a 1v1. You know he wants a 1v1 Mickey. I know he wants a 1v1 Mickey. Jinair just kind of pushing him around. Chaser over the wall. And just more pressure. Oh, he knocks Songyun against the wall with the ult. They're just kind of going for anything at this point, huh?
Well, I don't think they knew that all of the members of Anarchy were
Whoa,
responding. Mickey
meanwhile,
grabs
equalizer.
the lantern. Does he get out? He does.
Yeah, managed to stay off of the equalizer with the flash. Or, no, he just managed to just stay off it. Simply.
Yeah, he took the lantern out.
Ah, right.
So got out of there in the nick of time. And, of course, this Tremor Sense, it is difficult to catch anyone here in the jungle if they keep on moving around like that. So they have to go. They can fake Baron right now.
Yeah, well, they can pretty easily force a fight there or just take it.
Dragon up at 15. No equalizer to be used right now, and Mickey has returned.
Yep. Return of Mickey. And looks like they just might send a couple people to take down Dragon and then just keep everything else pushed for now. Pilot will probably go to help out, but it looks like Anarchy's coming down. And we may see a bit of a desperation fight.
Yeah, here we go, actually.
Yep,
Pilot just getting some tanking from Chaser right there, as well as a heal. There it is, no contest. Lyra.
Oh, Sweet goes in. There's a lot of CC.
Oh, wow, that was
Lyra.
a really good condemn.
No kidding.
That was a really
good.
good condemn.
A really good ability synergy between Jin right now. They're going to go in onto Anarchy as well, too. Box drop by Snowflower, but that's going to not stop the Green Wings at all. Oh, Sweet gets grabbed. Wild Growth is going to keep alive, though. Meanwhile, Chaser goes in, helps Pilot pick up another kill onto Mickey, and now Baron's going to be easy pickings for the Jin Green Wings.
Yeah, Sweet has to go back, but Ixu cancels his teleport, so he has to deal with the wave at the top side. So many minions set up there already by Jin trying to juggle the aggro on this Baron. You can see how fast it's going down with Pilot as fed as he is.
Snowflower's going to steal it with Death Sentence. Check it out. Oh, comes in. No, GBM manages to get the Baron, and Snowflower gets taken out. Oh, well, nice try.
Worth a shot.
Worth a shot. Might as well. And Lyra just trying to protect that top turret. But again, GBM and the rest of Jin just playing it out very methodically, and there's really nothing stopping them now from sort of walking into Anarchy's base and ending this. They don't have the greatest siege, but they don't really need it.
No, you can absolutely dive in this situation. They're so far ahead with this Baron buff that they'll be absolutely fine just pushing on through, especially with the tankiness from Wild Growth also. They have a lot of options. And look at that, Pilot 100% kill contribution rate.
Pretty good.
Alongside Chaser in this game, so both players really making pretty sizable impacts.
Yeah.
And another BF sword income. Oh my.
Oh, got to get out on the Lantern, which you can click as a puddle of blood. Who knew? Science. All right. Well, here's a Baron-powered Pilot just eating this turret. Wow. That was really fast. And they can dive. Chaser gets grabbed. Looks like they're going to dive anyway. Mickey comes in, gets immediately blown up by Pilot. And they don't decide to pursue any more kills right now until Ixu presents an opportunity. Himself has to ult away. Trace comes in as well. Songyun in big trouble. There's a double kill now for Pilot. He really wants that Penta, but he's not going to get a chance to get it. Not in that fight. He's going to take out Lyra, though. Keeping the dream alive. There's the triple kill. Wild Growth on him.
Well, Anarchy give him the pity Penta from earlier, as they are almost certainly going to lose right now. Here he goes.
Well, he's got damage onto Snowflower. There's the, oh, he's a little bit too late now. No Quadra, I guess. Oh, well. I think we're going to see the game end right now. So a couple Quadras, 2 Quadras in one game for Pilot. Unofficial Quadra the second time, I suppose. And at 31 minutes, Jin is going to coast in to victory. Looks like they want a couple more kills first. Ixu's going to give him one. Another one, there we go. Mickey wants to give them another kill as well. Oh, Mickey gets a kill on the Chasers. Nexus goes down, GG, and Jin with an easy win. Picks and bans for game number 2, Anarchy versus Jin. There's a Vayne ban. I only hope that this means there's no room for a Bard ban.
That's right. Well, they don't have to ban Callista this time, so...
Yep. Oh, good point. Wish you wouldn't have made that good point.
Oh, no.
Oh,
we're never going to get to see it. By the time they let Sweet play Bard, it's going to be nerfed.
Yep, pretty much. So we'll never get to see Sweet play Bard. Thanks, Obama.
Will be one of the great mysteries of the universe.
Yep. It's like Schrodinger's Bard, you know. If no one sees him play it, is he the best Bard ever or the worst Bard ever?
Well, he's both at the same time, obviously.
That's true.
So Callisto's led through. Now, last week, KT dealt with this by picking Urgot and Braum in the bottom lane. So basically, Callisto was locked down for a lot of that game, and here we go.
Styling begins. What do you think about Evelynn right now?
I agree with, I think Evelyn's okay, especially against teams that may not have the highest level of coordination, like Anarchy. You could play with Vision. It forces teams to play a different way. In my mind, Evelynn is pretty much always viable because of how much she changes the way the game is played from the enemy team.
It's true.
That invisibility by itself creates a massive disturbance in the game. And will they go for the Rek'Sai here? Has been one of Chaser's go-to picks and would allow him to put down some early pressure.
Well, I think against the Kalista, you just go tanky either way. And a Cho'Gath for GBM in the mid lane would certainly apply, but yeah, the Sejuani a strong pickup as well. does leave Gragas open for Lyra, and he has no, it's banned.
Yeah, I agree with banning Gragas because Lyra was impressive in terms of his Gragas mechanics, but he chose just to farm mostly on Rek'Sai in the last game, not even using her early game power whatsoever, which is a little odd because Lyra has been very active in terms of ganking so far from what we've seen.
I don't think LeBlanc would be a great pick here. I mean, it is open for GBM to take, obviously, if you don't take it away, but then Jin just continues to pick tanky champions, and then you have both carries with not a lot to do.
Yeah, and Mickey hasn't really delivered on LeBlanc in the same way, but this is a team composition that Anarchy can use to really snowball the early game. Obviously, the Kalista Thresh lane is very dangerous. Really powerful kill potential in that lane. So Jin are probably just going to react. Honestly, if I know Jin, they're probably going to play Urgot or Ezreal here.
Yep.
And just play really, really safely to avoid that kill pressure. And Rumble Lulu would not be a bad pickup right here. You have some mid-game power, and you've got the Lulu just to prevent any all-ins from Mickey.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. There we go, locked in. Lulu and Rumble. So the final two picks over to Anarchy, and we'll see what they have as far as their top and mid goes, or top and jungle goes, rather. Yeah, Rek'Sai Gnar.
Pretty standard. I don't know if I'm Anarchy, if I go ahead and take the Gnar right here. There's the Evelynn locked in for Lyra. This is going to be the third time he's actually played that champion so far. So they've been relying on it just to be surprising, and I think that's really a great play right here. Anarchy kind of all-inning on the laning phase. If they get fed out of laning phase, they'll be able to carry this game very effectively with LeBlanc and Kalista. And the ganks from Evelynn, just due to the surprise factor, will help that pretty significantly. But if they don't get that advantage, Evelynn just simply isn't as good of a late-game jungler as Sejuani in terms of the setup for team fights. Of course, that range CC really helping out with Sejuani and having some % damage as well, and just a lot more crowd control effects. So, falling behind could be dangerous, and it's going to be difficult to gank Lulu in the mid lane, so they have to look to gank bottom or top. And if Sweet and Pilot play far back with that Alistar under the turret, I mean, Alistar Urgot, one of the hardest lanes of the game to dive. Really, really challenging.
Yeah, you're going to get knocked away. You're just going to do less damage against them.
You'll get just massively CC'd under the tower. You'll get pulled under the tower further.
Yep.
It's very dangerous.
Yep.
So it's pretty solid team composition. It's a great answer to Kalista, who does need to snowball off the laning phase most of the time to actually remain relevant late. And we are going to have...
All right, here we go. That was a very weak cheer, Jin fans. Hey, Anarchy had a bigger cheer. It did.
Jin fans just sounded half-hearted. Yeah. What's up with that, Jin fans? You got to cheer for Jin.
Yeah, no kidding. Lyra. Tosses in that ward. Looks like an early invade from Jin just to get some deep wards going down. They want to know where this Evelynn starts, I suppose.
Yeah, just checking right now to see what the lane swap situation might be as well. I suspect that they are going to want to get that lane swap just like they did in the last game. And so Pilot and Sweet going to wrap around through the tri-brush and right back out of the jungle as a unit.
Oh.
They know they're showing on that ward right there. They did see it dropped earlier.
Yeah.
So just playing a little bit more reserve. Gnar is going to show right by the blue buff, and that's where the pings are going to go down. See if the mind games are coming in. Ixu heading back into the fog of war currently.
Yeah, Jin was able to take 3 out of the 4 buffs at the beginning of the last game as well, too. So they've been handling Anarchy in the very early minutes pretty well.
Yeah, Gnar repeatedly showing on this ward, so Pilot and Sweet will head up to the top side as soon as they realize what's going on. Now Gnar walking into the jungle just to get the double jungle going on as Urgot is left to freeze the lane, and Alistar maybe checking out the jungle to see if any shenanigans are going on. He's actually checking wolves right there to make sure that Gnar isn't starting on that camp. And Sweet, is he going to try and take these little golems or just harass? It's like no early
neither.
creeping. Sometimes you do see the supports try and take the little golems just to delay the leveling of the enemy jungler, which can be a very effective tactic.
Yeah. So Pilot has selected Giant Enemy Crab God, therefore they will win the game. That's just how it is. I don't make the rules.
You just read them.
That's right. I just react to what I see in front of me. We ate some delicious king crab the other day, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I don't think Urgot would be a delicious crab, though. I would not want to try that. If I did, though, it'd definitely have to be boiled.
I mean, he's pretty much the same level of grossness as all crabs are, really.
Well, yeah. I mean, your argument is that they're giant ocean spiders.
Except they feed on carrion and they're scavengers. They're pretty disgusting animals,
Wow.
actually.
Mickey taking a lot of damage early on. They are, but they taste delicious.
They do taste delicious, but they are gross.
Yeah. You ever wonder what it was like to be like an early human and you have these like animals that you find and you're just like, I'm gonna eat it. I'm just gonna eat it and see what happens.
Maybe I'll die.
It's like it's a giant ocean spider. Wonder how it tastes.
Better put it in my mouth.
I better. It's really hard to get into, which means it must be delicious. See, I think that's what led to people eating crabs, that it was hard to get into. Anarchy taking a very early dragon at 3 minutes.
Yeah, Trace actually TPing down there. He will see what's going on. Pops a ward into the Dragon Brush. People low, but there frankly aren't enough people there from Janair to actually deal any damage right now. A little bit of a delayed reaction from Chaser and Sweet in that situation. Sweet could have moved down just a little bit sooner and maybe disrupted that, but Anarchy will get out with that early dragon, no problem. Still a big freeze going in at the top side. Trace shouldn't have an issue breaking this freeze under the turret, just trying to stay back, uses Flame Spitter and Harpoons from afar while Sweet zones out, make sure that he's going to be okay with some of those deep wards.
Yeah, still farming just fine early on. Man, the people that ate like the first mushrooms, those are the ones that were really brave, because it's like, all right, we found this thing in the forest. It's either going to taste amazing, or it's going to kill you, or it's going to make you really high. It's going to be like one of those. We don't know which one it's going to be. We're just going to find out. Let's do it.
Good times.
That's right. Thanks to them.
Maybe all three if you're lucky.
That's right. I appreciate their efforts. Because I love mushrooms. Eating them. I can't dig my way out of that one, can I now? Oh, well.
Damage has been done.
I guess so. Mistakes were made. Oh, well. I'll just own it as best I can. Lyra lurking about in the lower jungle. Doesn't look like he's going to find a ton of opportunities, though. Every lane looking pretty ungankable. Even this bot lane. I mean, it's Rumble Alistar. We do see Snowflower roaming down, too, so maybe out of the three of them, they can make something happen. He goes through a pink ward, though. Trace getting slowed for the moment.
Yeah, nice
good pink ward.
Nice pink ward. Just lets you know if that Evelynn is coming down and trying to make a play while you're pushing up right there. Besides, they broke the freeze anyway. The wave looks like it will be reversing, so Rumble can have some more opportunities. Tons of pink wards down right now in favor of Janair.
There's a play. Snowflower, wow, taking a lot of damage here. Songyun trying to equalize to make a difference here. Snowflower getting low, though. We'll see if the Ignite finishes him off. Doesn't look like it will. Meanwhile, here comes Ixu teleporting down. First blood for Songyun as he flashes ahead for that one. Ixu not quite done yet putting on the damage, but he may take quite a bit for it. Oh, man. Lucky Lyra was there. Otherwise, that would have been a dead Gnar.
Yeah, and just chasing him off, very close to taking out Snowflower, but since Trace didn't have the TP, you have to respect that TP in the top side. But
yeah,
will this get Ixu behind in terms of CS? Because how much is he going to lose on this top lane turret? If we can take a look at the top side right now, Pilot is actually just pushing this lane into the tower. So some CS is going to be denied. We'll see if that first blood onto Songyun is worth it. Remember that Anarchy really needs to get a lead out of this laning phase to be relevant in the late game.
Yeah, getting that first blood onto Callista is pretty great. And I mean, Ixu did get an assist as well, so it's okay, but losing quite a bit of, he lost nearly that entire wave looking at the mini-map. Yeah.
Urgot's coming back down now, so they're trying to switch this into the 2v2.
Oh, LeBlanc is coming. They're going to try to cut off Trace, it looks like.
Now, dropped pink ward.
Got back in, yep.
Very good timing. They are going to lose it immediately, but no one actually going to die as a result of that. And now Rumble will go topside just to catch this wave. We did see that he prepped it, froze it close to the turret so that Urgot could take this minion wave pretty easily on the bottom side. Pilot already with a nice CS advantage that's pretty much going to nullify that first blood gold almost.
Yeah. Teleport from Trace to get himself back to lane to catch this wave. And so he'll be able to maintain a little bit of a CS edge out of this probably. Getting pretty close to level 6 at this point too. Only about half a level to go. But overall, aside from that first blood, things pretty stable across the board. But first Dragon, first blood for Anarchy. It's a good start. I mean, this is what they needed to do. The only question is, you know, can they keep doing it? Yeah, and
Jin Air just keeps playing safe. They bought so many pink wards already this game. Another 2 pink wards coming in from Sweden Pilot just to keep themselves safe. They know that if they go late game on this one, Anarchy probably won't have the damage to take them down. Yeah, considering how tanky they're going to be, especially with that wild growth from Lulu as well. Now, Jin Air, they don't have a high damage composition either, but they're just going to win the war of attrition, basically.
Yeah, they can kind of grind it out in the mid and late game once they start to get a bit tankier. 1 minute until Dragon is back again. And we see if anyone wants to try to make a move for it. Now, all those pink wards bought by Jin Air as well, too, takes away from the items they could be getting.
Well, at least they're not totally feeding mid and bot lane so far. I think that's a good trade-off, the upside. Huh? You spend 100 gold, but you get that safety and make sure that Songyun isn't going to get an overwhelming advantage.
True.
With the help of Lyra. Good counter pink warding, though, as we see right now. A lot of wards in the river for Anarchy. And you're mentioning this before the broadcast, but that's something that Anarchy's been doing surprisingly well is warding.
Yeah, they really
have. For an amateur team.
I mean, the basic mechanics, the basics are there for this team.
It's just going to be a ridiculous wombo combo.
Yeah, we will see. Sweet just waiting. There's a play. Pilot comes in position, reverse around to Songyun immediately. There's a nice pulverize right into Chaser. And that was an easy kill there. Snowflower tries to get away. Looks like he'll make it out, but they wanted the kill on Kalista, and they got it.
And they're going to be able to transition this immediately into the Dragon as well, which is just a bonus for them. Should they go for it? Looks like we're just going to wait a little bit as they push this wave up. They've got time to do the Dragon for sure. LeBlanc just going to use this opportunity to recall.
They're going now.
Considering they can't contest the Dragon anyway.
And so, equalizing the Dragons, another kill. Jin Air with the gold lead now. And they took a little tiny hit early on, but they came right back and grabbed the lead back again. Nice big CS lead for Pilot as well in this mid lane now. So things very, very much back on track for Jin Air. And you know, now you're behind. Now is Anarchy, the team that kind of needs to be ahead. Now you're behind. It's not a lot, but any amount behind with this composition is pretty worrisome, I would imagine.
Yeah, and especially now that the Dragons have been equalized, because Anarchy can't play really hard on that objective to try and end the game earlier or force those preferable mid-game fights. It gives Jin Air some more breathing room just to get the items they need to close out the match right here. And Ixu wasn't able to turn that into a 4v4 if Anarchy wanted to contest it, because his TP was just starting to come back up right now. Just came back up, in fact. So a little bit too late, and it's a nice timing from Jin Air. Anarchy keeping things pretty even at the very least. We'll see how if they can, again, transition to this. Mickey hasn't had as big of an effect on his LeBlanc as he has on some of his other champions in his pool. His Zed and Ahri, in terms of roaming, proved a lot better than his LeBlanc play.
I mean, the other thing, too, is that the sample size is still just so low for this team that we really don't know a lot about these players yet. We're still kind of learning about all of their maximum capabilities, I suppose. Lyra came down the bottom for a lane gank, but the lane was already pushed up, so not quite sure what was going to happen there. Maybe you think he was worried about Chaser coming in to try something, perhaps?
Yeah, possibly. Chaser's ult's back up right now, so they could make an identical play to the one we saw earlier.
True.
But not going to happen. Chaser's just sitting in Fountain right now. What's he waiting for?
Did you just get the enchant? I didn't see what he bought.
Yeah,
Mickey gets the chains on GBM. Backs away, though.
And now, again, 3 more pink wards from Jenner. They are all over this. And usually we see teams try and deep ward with green wards to try and deal with it.
Oh, here we go. GBM flashing in. He used that wild growth. Got the knockup, but Mickey manages to make it out.
Dodges the, here we go, all in on the bottom side.
Nice play out of that, a knockup from the Fates call. There's the box going down sweet, knocking Snowflower out of there. Songyun still doing plenty of damage. Lyra not able to really contribute a lot to that. Here comes Chaser. He could get a nice ult. He's got the flash as well. The flash used for Songyun already. Teleport by Trace, and there's a position reverser onto Lyra. Oh, gets canceled though. Oh, but that's a nice equalizer coming down from Trace, and that's an easy double kill then for Pilot.
And Mickey just not healthy enough to follow right here. GBM got the pressure in the mid lane. And it's a bit curious now. Anarchy tried to go for that gank, but it didn't look like they had accurate information about where Chaser was. Couldn't pull it off in time. And because GBM had already chipped out Lyra on the bottom side, GBM was able to quickly move into the bottom side of the map and help out with that gank in the end before this LeBlanc could do much of anything at all. So 3 kills over to Pilot.
Yeah, Anarchy responds with 2 turrets though. So they're able to still stay close, gold-wise. It's not too bad.
And Pilot this season so far, we saw his big KDA from the first match. It was only 2 games, but 31 KDA. And now he's really delivering here again tonight.
Yeah.
Remember, he has yet to die in either of the games this evening.
That's true.
And his positioning has been excellent. He's been showing a lot of new champions that I wouldn't have considered very Pilot-esque previously. And the team is playing well around him. They're giving him so many kills and giving him this big opportunity to carry that we just haven't seen from Pilot before.
Do you feel like across the board we're seeing more of a focus back to supporting the AD carry?
I think it just depends on the team.
Oh, Mickey tries to make a plan to sweet here. He takes a lantern out, though. Doesn't want to fight that 1v3. But yeah, I feel like we're seeing a lot more compositions in general right now in Korea that are AD carry focused.
Yeah, I think there's some kind of oddball priority picks for AD carry, like this Kalista that we constantly see banned out. But a lot of teams don't have an AD carry that can reliably carry, and we're seeing that with Samsung and Najin and Jinair in particular right now, 2 of these teams that have been running the Lulu mid and focusing more on the side lanes, at least tonight for Jinair, and allowing GBM to play a more supportive role, whereas in the past, we would see him often on champions like Ahri, like LeBlanc, like Xerath, and be more of a central carry himself. So Jinair trying out a new identity, really.
Which is good.
Yeah.
We needed to see some adaptation from them after how poorly the end of the spring season went, so it's good to see something new from Jinair.
Man. Songyun built Hurricane first. I really don't like this build.
Yeah.
And they're trying to bait Mickey in right now. Chaser is there.
Oh, Mickey goes in out of GBM. There's a wild growth knocking him up. Mickey back into the brush there. Chaser chases with the ult. They had the ward there.
Oh, he failed the flash.
So they saw him, yeah. GBM trying to chase Mickey back into the brush again, over the wall. Oh, right into the flame spitter. Talk about out of the frying pan and into the literal fire.
Wow, look how well Jinair actually corralled that right there. Chaser
Seriously
failed his flash, but they had everything else on lockdown. Songyun and Snowflower desperately trying to push right now. They get some damage done to the tower, and at the very least, the Hurricane is going to allow them to put pressure on the lane. But I just don't see a situation where Songyun is actually going to get in range of multiple targets in a team fight to make effective use of a Hurricane. Because if he walks up, he's going to get hit by Lulu or Sejuani CC or even a Urgot ult 100%. So he has to play more of a attack the front line role. And in that position, if you're not hopping through the fight and landing spears onto everybody, I just don't see the value in this item right now.
Right. Well, Dragon taken by Jinair pretty easily. Get that second one. They've got 2 out of the 3 outer turrets done. Same as Anarchy, I suppose. But the pressure's on now. Got to make something big happen. pretty soon for Anarchy, it seems like.
Yeah, and Mickey going for an Abyssal Scepter right now, too. Not sure that's really an optimal item for him, trying to build into some resists up against this Lulu and this Rumble, who are going to taper off in the late game. He needs to build for burst right now if he's trying to get back into this one and help get his team a lead, because he has to hit this power spike and then snowball off of that.
Yeah.
And Abyssal Scepter just not going to be the very best item for doing that. Meanwhile, GBM with a bit of a hodgepodge of a build right now, not even completing an item yet, but moving into
Ludenzeco.
Ludenzeco on Lulu very early.
Well, he's got a choice. He can go Athenes or he can go Ludenzeco right now, whatever he decides to finish first. Or, you know, with enough gold, he could probably just finish both at once. It's interesting.
Certainly could. Well, some wards going down right now for Anarchy, but the Dragon's already dead, so those bottom side wards aren't going to do them a lot of favors unless they want to dive this turret, which presents some pretty serious risk. But Songyun at least keeping the pressure on this lane. That is something that he can do much more effectively with the Hurricane, with the better wave clear. So as long as they're trying to prolong the laning phase, that's fine. But I feel that prolonging the laning phase isn't really what Anarchy wants to do. Here we go.
Yeah, they may try to go in on this chase right there, but Mickey's going to find him. First of all, nice pulverize from Sweet, taking a lot of damage in the process, though. Mickey, there's a nice equalizer, trapping a lot of Anarchy. Meanwhile, a good amount of damage comes in. That's a kill for Lyra, and Anarchy pushing Jin Air back a little bit. Death Sentence. Pilot stunned up against the wall. That's a kill now for Callista. Meanwhile, Trace going down, getting low. Gets taken out. That's a double kill for Lyra in this fight. Sweet barely making it out. So Anarchy, despite the setup for Jin Air, was able to come out on top that fight.
Yeah, and Anarchy was all there first, which really helped because Jin Air was sort of filtering into that fight one by one. And even though Jin Air set up a great Sejuani Rumble ult combo, it just wasn't enough damage, and they didn't have the focus fire to take one person out right there. Look at that, Snowflower's going to miss his death sentence, but Pilot going to take an early flash right there. Sweet forced to burn his ultimate before he can really be effective, and that's a great ult combo. But at the same time, Mickey comes in, gets a good distortion on multiple people, and then Songyun is able to hop forward and get a lot of Ren stacks down on multiple members. Ixu shows up with a big Gnar ultimate as well, but had Jin Air all been there at the same time, GBM was a little bit delayed. Trace was a little delayed because he had to TP to the minion wave behind his team in lane.
Yeah. And just like that, Anarchy back in this game in a big way.
They've got it.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a nice little 3,000 gold lead. Bloodthirster finish now for Songyun. And this team just continues to show that they're a team that needs to be taken seriously 100% of the time.
Yeah, they're very scrappy, and this is a healthy lead that they have right now.
Yeah.
If they can snowball it out, they're going to be in good position, but I think eventually their damage is going to taper off pretty significantly.
Anarchy strikes me as like a better version of what Samsung was last season.
Yeah.
You know? They share a lot of similar traits, but they're just kind of better about executing on everything. They've got that same aggression, they've got that same mechanical skill, but they're just able to put it together better.
Well, it's not really that surprising either, considering that Samsung didn't have players with the level of experience that Anarchy has. Yes, they're an amateur team, but they've lived in gaming houses before. They've performed in tournaments or in leagues before as well. Even though it has been more in a secondary capacity in China, they were still there, they were still performing, and so they do have a bit of an advantage just in terms of being more veteran players than a lot of the members of Samsung were last season.
Still wearing those just plain white dress shirts today as well, too. They need some sort of uniform, you know?
They need to be like punk rockers. We discussed this.
Yeah, exactly.
Time for everyone to get a mohawk. All of you, get a mohawk.
All the teams need, like, themes, you know, to their attire. Needs to be like Warriors or something like that, you know? You have the one team that's just all dressed like baseball players or something for some reason. It's you have like the hair rock guys.
The hair rock guys.
Hair rock, you know?
The hair metal?
Hair metal?
Yeah.
Hair metal, hair rock, whatever.
I love it. Just get some tease their hair 80s style. Get some bleach out.
You could totally do it. Yeah. Some sick extensions.
Nobody misses the 80s.
No. I'm trying to picture Trace with hair extensions now, you know, and like have it teased out.
That'd be great. Jenner, you're really missing
like
some
Van
opportunities.
Yeah. I bet Trace kicks back and rocks out to the Van Halen once in a while, you know. You don't look like you agree with me. Why?
I think Trace is far too serious for that. I just think he listens to
K-pop probably. Yeah, probably just has it on constantly on his second monitor like most Korean pros do.
Yeah, he just dances around to bubble pop when nobody's watching.
Oh geez, don't mention the bubble pop. We've purged bubble pop from League of Legends long ago, Monte Cristo. You don't need to bring that back.
I'm bringing it back.
You don't need to bring that back. No.
I'm bringing the bubble pop back to the fans, Doa. I'm doing it for the fans.
The fans only like bubble pop because they just don't know what else is out there.
I mean, all K-pop is terrible.
All right, I pretty much agree with you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's like some of it has like a little bit of a catchy tune here and there, but overall, I'm not a big fan. You know what? You know the K-pop Act 21?
Yep.
I really didn't like one of their songs once, and I made like a mean tweet about it, and I found out that there's a rabid fan base for this group, and they call themselves the Blackjacks because it's 21, right? And I got like hundreds of really angry tweets from fans of this. It was pretty funny. I found out.
Did you find the?
You don't mess with the Blackjacks, apparently.
The Twitter.
Or they'll entertain you.
Pitchfork Mafia.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, when you insult K-pop, you're treading on some dangerous ground, Monte Cristo. Some of those fans are pretty intense.
They'll get so mad that they say mean things to you on Twitter, and then nothing else happens.
That's right. Look out, man.
Wow.
They will type at you so hard. Yep. The term is keyboard warrior here in Korea. That's what they call people like that. The Korean term translates to keyboard warriors.
Truly a noble calling, wouldn't you say, Doa?
That's right. You know? I don't know.
You know? I don't know.
What would be like the way to make your keyboard look like the sickest weapon?
I'm sure somebody's already done this, Doa. I'm
Probably.
sure somebody has actually made a keyboard out of a weapon.
You know, why don't we have movies where the hackers have like keyboards on like shoulder straps like keytars were, you know, and they like just jump through the air and like program things really fast while they're doing parkour or something? Why hasn't this happened yet? Seems like an opportunity.
It does seem like that's the obvious next step to go in terms of Hollywood's ridiculous obsession with hacking and how it operates in a fantasy, reality.
Yep. Be careful. You don't want to become the hacked.
So I was watching Jurassic Park again the other day.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
One of my favorites.
I just laugh so hard at the hacking.
Yeah, that's right. It's a Unix system. I know this. Yeah. That's a worse designed operating system. If you haven't seen Jurassic Park, at the end of it, there's the
visual operating system where they have to go through the map of everything.
Instead of just clicking folders or clicking around, no, you have to like fly through a three-dimensional space where you've got like your different programs or like cubes and stuff. It's like, wow. It's almost as bad as the Windows 8 touch interface. Almost. Almost. That's right.
There's no flying yet in Windows. They haven't discovered the.
That's right. That's going to be the next one.
That's the only time you can get through the special flight mode is if you're a hacker.
Yep. That's right. They can hack into it and get to flight mode, super secret flight mode. There, we filled that pause quite nicely, didn't we? I'm happy with how that one went. All right, back to the game. And the lead for Anarchy. Ooh. Say grab a red buff and move towards this top lane turret. Maybe a little bit of pressure onto this tier 2.
Yeah, wave clear not too great for Jin Air either, obviously with the Urgot, so
yeah,
they're a little bit vulnerable here. And Anarchy doing a good job of dialing up the pressure in this game and trying to take advantage of their lead. They've got some nice deep wards in that top side, unable to really do much at all to this tier 2.
Yeah, for now though. This is where Anarchy can start to kind of use that good warding to push this lead. We've seen them do it in the past. They do have a lot of wards down. Dragon up in a minute 20. And if Anarchy can win a fight there and take the second dragon, then as Jin Air, do you start to get a bit worried?
Yeah, but if I'm Jin-Air, I don't even try and fight this dragon unless I have a really good reason to, or a pretty preferential setup for the dragon around the pit, because who cares if they get another dragon right now? It's not the end of the world. They're not going to be able to close this game out, and you could just sit there and try and take a top tower, maybe get some gold back, start trying to even up that advantage, and then fight later on once you've scaled into some serious tankiness.
That's right. Well, Rumble scared away by this LeBlanc for now.
It's dodging the chains right there. Mickey not really able to follow up considering he had already used his ultimate for their distortion, and there's not really a lot of danger for Trace at the moment. And on you. It's going to release some Sentinels. Setup already happening. Lots of wards down for Anarchy. Total vision control for them at the moment.
Yeah, they really want this second dragon, and like you mentioned, I don't think it's worth it for Jin-Air to try to contest this. It's not the biggest deal if they get it.
Yeah, Nar just going to go ahead and check the Baron, make sure they're not trading a Baron for a dragon or anything. And
right.
As I thought, Jin-Air said screw it. We'll just go for the top lane tower instead. And I think that's the best possible strategic call at this point in time. There's no real reason to go all in on that objective with their team composition. So that's a good read, and generally Jin-Air can clear out a little bit of vision right there.
Yeah, they should be able to get this top lane turret finally as well, too.
Yeah,
but Anarchy's going to push mid, though.
Yeah, they don't have any wave clear, though, there, so this could be a mistake.
Yeah,
if they trade a tier 2, this is all of a sudden not worth it. They sent a lot of people in the top, and it was a late recall, so actually free tower from Anarchy, so that actually worked out really well for Anarchy.
Yeah, without the teleport onto Trace, there's nothing that Jin-Air can really do about it.
And as for
tier 1 at least.
Who is going to split push that? Having Trace up there, sure, he's got the teleport, and that's great. We're split pushing, obviously, but they kind of need him because his ult is actually a pretty crucial component of wave clear with their composition. They only have Glitter Lance and Equalizer to clear waves.
Yeah. So Jin-Air, all they really need to do is just sort of sit back and wait, huh? I mean, they should scale well, shouldn't they?
Yeah, that's it. They're going to get super tanky to the point where this LeBlanc isn't going to have so much of a radical effect on the game anymore, particularly with Mickey's kind of wacky build this game.
Yeah.
Going for the fast Abyssal Scepter.
Oh, almost got that Grump.
So close.
Didn't. Chaser got the Grump.
Yeah, so, and Trace too, he's going to be able to dodge a lot of LeBlanc damage if and when he actually picks up a Zhonya's Hourglass here. So, Anarchy really has to find a way to continue to make picks. Otherwise, this Kallista's going to get locked down because, remember, the key point for Urgot in these team fights is every time he levels up his ult because it substantially increases the range on that ability. So, once he hits the later levels in this game, he's going to be able to grab Songyun from pretty far away and put him right into a team fight where he will be collapsed on and killed nearly immediately, which is why he's got that early QSS.
The thing we haven't mentioned too yet is that this is, patch 5.9, and so that means Kalista doesn't get any bonus hopping distance on her backwards hops too, so makes it even a little bit harder to get away if you get stuck in that position. So Songyun's positioning in teamfights is going to need to be really good.
Yeah, I think that was a nice change they made, although
very reasonable.
Hurricane did get a buff recently to get a little bit more damage on it as well, so that empowered Kalista, who's the primary champion who uses Hurricane, obviously.
Yeah.
Try and take away the blue buff, not quite going to work right there. They'd love to give it over to GBM because they really need him with that wave clear ability. He's going to grab it. Sweet taking a lot of damage, though. He is going to be able to run out with the Whimsy.
Ixu not finding an opportunity to use that Gnar ultimate to bring anyone back in, so it looks like Jin-Air will get that blue buff onto GBM and get out. But what's the response now? Looks like the response is to move over and secure that red buff as well, too. So, Jin-Air playing smart, just saying, all right, well, the objectives that we can control right now are our buffs. So let's just hold on to those. Let's just kind of keep things safe and see where things go.
Yeah, get some defensive wards. Make sure that you're not going to get picked off, that you have some idea about where these carries are moving on the map, and play conservatively until you get a hell of a lot more tankiness.
Pretty
Trace
much.
going for the same build he did last time. Voidstaff second, but he's going to need that. He's going to need that Zhonya's Hourglass for the tankiness that it provides, and the fact that he can zone out by flame spittering and then Zonyaing to make sure that this Kalista can't really engage these team fights particularly effectively.
Well, Anarchy trying to bait Baron a little bit now. 'Cause they don't want Jin Air to have an easy time waiting for the late game. They want to fight.
Yeah, they do, but they have to get more of a lead than they've got right now, and they're trying to make it happen through baiting this Baron. But and the Baron, this is a good bait because obviously Kalista has that insane Baron control for an AD carry, so there is a real threat of them doing Baron at this point in the game.
Well, I think Anarchy knows that they have a window that they can kind of win this game in right now, and so they either have to take Baron or force a fight there to kind of keep that window open.
It's not really working though. Sonya started autoing Baron, but then immediately backed off. They have to be decisive right now.
Yeah, they have been so decisive too in a lot of their games. So it's a bit surprising to see them waffling a little bit. Yeah, just going back to Baron pit, then leaving again.
Well, there's a green ward from Jin Air in the back of the pit that's been there for quite a long time that can't be seen by the pink ward they currently have.
Might have been missed by a sweeping lens or something. Jin Air sees this Baron happening, and it's not actually dying all that quickly. So yeah, Anarchy's going to need to back off.
Well, Baron doesn't go down quickly with Kalista for the first part of Baron. It's that big multi-thousand damage spike via Rend at the end that causes it to go down in a heartbeat. So the just finishes off quite quickly, and there is Mickey throwing out a chain. Not really going to do all that much to Sweet right now. Aegis has been completed for Chaser. That's a pretty big pickup against the burst coming in from LeBlanc to help out the rest of the team.
Oh, Mickey. I mean, everyone's so tanky.
Yeah, who's
on Jin Air?
Who is the only person that Mickey's going to be able to burst on LeBlanc in the late game is Rumble, and that's if Rumble just doesn't get his Zonias in this game. But other than that, everyone else is perfectly capable of surviving a LeBlanc combo.
Yeah, we've seen some of these. Well, I feel like we've seen most of the LeBlanc picks these days.
Oh,
never mind. All right, well, forget everything we just say. He didn't get to use his ult.
He didn't get to do anything.
No. Wow, we're going to have to see a replay of that. Meanwhile, Dragon taken, that's the third one now for Anarchy. So things still going okay, but it seems like these LeBlanc picks, like you said, are kind of running into a bit of a brick wall when it comes to tanky compositions. Maybe Mickey will prove us wrong this time, but in general, it hasn't worked out for a lot of teams.
I'm really surprised that Mickey was able to pull that off, especially without using Ignite. That's the big one. They're going to start the Baron here before they clear out the wards, so this is going to be pretty telegraphed.
More wards coming in from Jin Air. Anarchy knows they're going for it, though. Pilot throwing some poison in there. Anarchy has to back away. Oh, the hook misses. And we'll see if Jin Air wants to try something. They've got the ult upon to Chaser, but again, no Sweet. He's trying to join the fight right now, so it would be a 4v5. Pilot coming in, trying to get that position reverser, gets grabbed, gets with the box. There's a wild growth to keep him alive. Chaser comes in, doesn't use that ult yet. He's being very patient with it. Sweet joining the fight now. Chaser with the kill, and here we go. A beautiful equalizer comes in for Trace. Gnar ultimate does a lot of work on Jin Air, though, but it's not enough. And Anarchy pushed away. Ixu flashing over the wall. Gonna die anyway after those knockups. Another kill for Chaser. Mickey waiting for an opportunity. Did he find one? Nope.
Just not enough damage. Mickey has no mana there either. They took a risk on that Baron. Tried to go all in. It didn't bait and took some damage before they turned.
GBM.
And then, of course, Trace. His equalizers have been so good.
Yeah.
Not only tonight, but ever since this season began, his 2 games last week as well. Picking up the Rumble in one of those, really doing a lot of work on it. Now Jin Air is going to take that Baron, going to even up in terms of gold and have all that pressure. Let's take a look at this one again. I mean, Pilot gets hooked right there, so they think it's a good opportunity to go in, but Wild Growth and Flash gets him out of that circumstance pretty quickly. Look at that 4-man ultimate, and then another ultimate right there. And if you notice, Songyun had to blow his QSS on the Sejuani ultimate, so then Pilot just grabbed him immediately, swapped him back in, and he was dead.
Yeah, I mean, really the story of that fight, I feel like, was the patience of Chaser to wait for the perfect time for that ultimate.
Well,
because
also Pilot going in,
Pilot
going in like that, baiting them into the fight, and then 4-man Sejuani ultimate forces that QSS. Pilot just waiting as long as possible to use the position reverser. then recognizes that it's the prime time to use that ability after Trace lands that big equalizer too. So just a beautifully played team fight by Jin Air.
Yeah. Well, Songyun's got his last whisper, so doing a little bit more damage now. Getting some armor penetration, which is helpful against Jin Air, of course, but Jin Air, I think the window may have closed at this point, especially with that Baron buff.
That Baron buff is really game-changing, and
yep.
Anarchy, I think they misplayed that a little bit. You have to look for the pick right there. You can't commit that hard to Baron under those circumstances. You want to get that burst damage off and force the fight, and Jin Air's patience with their ultimates was really key. You just see Jin Air is a lot better at team fighting, and that's why some of these AoE abilities are so dangerous in the late game.
You know, it does look like Jin Air is going to be able to take this game now. Pilot gets grabbed with the death sentence, but that said, you know, Anarchy continues to look pretty good. Not good enough, but still pretty decent. Jin Air pushed away by that threat of the teleport coming in for Ixu, but yeah. I think Anarchy still has something special started maybe here.
Well, if they can keep scrapping, they did have some very nice team fighting in the early game. I like what we saw from them in lane.
Yeah, this game may be over, but it's a long season. Oh, Mickey, gets knocked up, tries to get some damage on Sweet. Another beautiful equalizer from Trace comes in. Mickey just barely getting away. Ixu has to jump over the wall. There's Songyu untouched but alone. And Jin Air, they catch Ixu with the ultimate from Chaser. There's a couple knockups. And another kill for GBM.
Sweet was so good to catch LeBlanc right there.
Yeah, what a reaction.
With the pull combo, and then the immediate follow-up from Trace, too, with the equalizer to keep pushing forward. Jin Air has gotten miles better in terms of engaging, and that was one of the issues that I saw with Jin Air late last season, was when Che was playing, Che and Chaser again.
Oh, they got him again. Wow. The reaction time is just amazing from Sweet. Pilot gets grabbed, doesn't really matter, he's pretty tanky. There's a wild growth just in case. Songyun backing away, not able to do a whole lot of damage. Lyra in the middle of everything. Double kill already for Pilot though, and Lyra gets slowed, gets taken out, and Snowflower just bringing his death ever closer. Oh, manages to get back to the fountain. Hi, Ixu. Pilot taking a lot of damage from the turret here, as well as Ixu. Sweet just pushing him away here. May have to give his life for that. Uses the flash, but Jin Air ready to end it, as 3 members are out of commission for Anarchy right now. So Anarchy putting up a little bit better showing in game 2, but it looks like Jin Air is going to be able to end this one. Maybe not right now, but in the near future.
No, they don't want to be this low when that LeBlanc comes back up with a death cap and can actually take out someone when they have so few abilities available to them. So smart of them just to back out. There's another dragon in 45 seconds. Go ahead, take that. Then you can just make the final push. I love the patience we're seeing Jin Air play with. They understand when their timings are. They're not being overly hasty about contesting objectives, because that's been one of my complaints, Stoa, is that a lot of teams I feel are overvaluing the stacks 2 and 3 on Dragon.
Pilot in a lot of trouble. Position reversal used. Wild growth onto Chaser helps a lot. A lot of damage still. Pilot is gigantic now though. Mickey getting very, very low. Ixu as well turns around for the stun. Nobody there to land it on. And so Jin Air saves their AD carry at the last moment there.
And Anarchy may have actually forced a fight out of this one.
Maybe. Sweet coming in now. There's another nice equalizer. Great pulverize. Ixu with a good ult pushes people back. But does he create enough space for his team to get away? They lose Songyun, they lose Snowflower, they're going to lose this Dragon as well. And Jin Air continuing to just get that lead. Lyra not able to come in and try for that steal. And Jin Air winning another fight.
Mickey again looking for something, but the recall's going to come in before he's actually able to get the damage down this time. And Pilot's just been amazing in the last couple of matches. His positioning has been excellent. First time he's died tonight.
Well, he's done a great job of being bait in the second game. You know, he's done a great job of making it look like he's gotten himself out of position, but then just being barely in range to be saved by his team every time.
Yeah.
It's an intricate dance, but Jin Air is dancing it well.
GBM going for Lichbane now.
Yeah.
So just trying to add more punch to his build. No Void Staff yet, despite fairly good amount of magic resist on the enemy team.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think the Void Staff would have been a little bit better here?
Yeah, probably.
Well, looks like it's not going to matter. They take out Lyra without any issues at all.
It's better for sieging, though, that Lich Bane, because he'll be able
Yeah.
to chunk the towers and end the game really quickly. So I
That's a
understand
good
why
point.
he's doing it.
Makes sense. Well, they're not going to spot that ward, but it doesn't matter. Oh, yeah, they actually do. Never mind. Position reversed onto Mickey. They catch him. Can't get away. Wow. Pilot has just been so on point with these ults here. Ixu, nothing he can do. He's tanky, but it doesn't matter. They grab Sweep, but no one around to do damage to him. Snowflower drops that box out, and Equalizer just slowing people, allowing everyone to catch up, take down Songyun. Ixu ults people away, but he is nearly the last man standing here as Snowflower's just come back up again. But it's not going to stop Jin Air from taking down this final Nexus turret and then taking out the Nexus. Sweet just pushing Ixu away as Jin Air gets ready to end the game. I guess Lyra is back as well, too, doing some damage onto Sweet and Chaser, but that is a giant rumble. That is a very dead couple members of Anarchy, and that is it, a 2-0 for Jin Air. So I think